Good morning, children. Welcome to today's online class. As yesterday, I have started new chapter of history, that is the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate, 1206 to 1290. And in this chapter, I taught you about the Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori, he was a ruler of the small kingdom, and as like other rulers, he too want to expand his empire, so he used to attack in the nearby countries, and once he tried to expand his empire into Iran but defeated by Shah of Khurasan, a kingdom in the eastern Iran. Later on, Ghori conquered Multan in the Punjab region and they attacked Gujarat. But as from the ancient time onwards, Gujarat was a prosperous and powerful kingdom, so he got defeated over there, and after that, Chalukya king Bhim defeated him in battle. Later on, he gradually established his hold power over Punjab, which brought him to the border of Prithviraj Chauhan's kingdom. And now he planned to conquer Prithviraj Chauhan's kingdom. So during that time, the Rajput king Prithviraj Chauhan ruled over Delhi and Ajmer, just like Gauri. Prithviraj also a powerful and ambitious and wanted to expand his empire, and he too attacked Gujarat, but he too defeated by the king Bhim. Then he put his attention to the kingdom in the east, but again failed to conquer. So he left with only one alternative, that he have to march towards the Punjab. And definitely if he want to conquer over Punjab, so he have to face with the Ghori on the battlefield. So the Ghori and Prithviraj Chauhan, they have faced each other on the battlefield at a place called Tehran in the year 1191. And the very first time Prithviraj emerged the victor. But Ghori was success to escape from there, and after a year he made himself ready to attack again on Tehran, just like on the Prithviraj Chauhan only. So Prithviraj had a large army consisting of the infantrymen and many elephant and horses. A part of that, small rulers and feudal also used to join him in a battles. And Ghori's army was much smaller and did not have any elephant, but he had swifter horse and a cavalryman adapted shooting arrow while riding. It means he have a good tactics. He have less army, but he know how to defeat their enemies. So when the Ghori's horsemen attacked elephant of Prithviraj, and the elephant started running backward and devastating their own army. It means directly he never used to hit on the Prithviraj army. He used to hit on the animals, the cavalries, the elephant troops. So as they were vaccinating their own army, they attacked the elephant and stamped them, gira dete the unko. And the Rajput king, and then you can say that in this way the Rajput king tasted defeat in the second battle. And after the battles of Tehran, the Turk established the rule over Delhi. Till here I taught you yesterday, and now the regions of the Turks success. Why? After having very less army, why the Turks got success? So the question is there, how did the Turk Sultan manage to defeat so many prominent Rajput kings to establish his supremacy? Why were the Rajput king unsuccessful in the battle? What is the reason behind this? After being a good large army holder, how they have defeated? So these are the questions historians have pondered over, and they present many conflicting view. After getting such type of questions also, the historian, they did not get any conclusion. So some of the historians believe the mutual differences between the Rajput rulers were the main cause of their defeat. It means all the rulers, they were not having the mutual ideas that how we have to defeat their enemies. Raja Jaichand, put another here. Raja Jaichand played an important role, and others believe the Turks were victorious because the cavalrymen were adept at using bows and arrows while riding horses. It means you can say that the Turks were the victorious because the cavalrymen जो भी उनके army में थे, they have a very good idea about the bows and arrow while riding the horses, and they could attack swiftly in the battle and also retreat quickly to save themselves. अगर वो सामने पे अटैक करते थे, and that particular moment only they used to defeat himself, अपने आप को बचाते भी थे. So their battle tactics are resource The battle tactics are the main reason why the Turks defeated that Rajputs, and their battle tactics and resource were therefore superior of those slower mover Rajput army. It means you can say that the Rajput army were a little bit slow. From slave to sultan, this is the next topic of this chapter. Muhammad Ghori was murdered a couple of years after the Battle of Tehran. After winning the Battle of Tehran, after 1 year, Muhammad Ghori was murdered. उनका मर्डर किया गया था. And at that time, his empire in Delhi was administered by his officers and generals. It means just after the Muhammad was murdered, the Delhi was administered by the officer and the generals. That you can imagine that slave serving as senior officer and generals. एक नौकर होके भी they are working as senior officer and general. This was a common practice in countries like Iran and Turkey during this period. When during that time they having the slave trade. In Hindi we used to call it das, gulam, gulami जो करते हैं. Children, listen very carefully. It is a very interesting paragraph. Traders would buy young men and they used to train them in fighting and administration and sell them to the sultans. The trader used to buy the young men, just like vegetables how we are going to purchase right now. Earlier they used to purchase a young man and they used to give good training in fighting and administration and all other aspects. After trained and all, they used to sell these slaves to the sultan, and instead of this they used to get the good money. The slaves were given work and rank according to their capabilities. The slaves used to get the works and rank according to their caliber, their capability. In fact, you can say that they were paid high salaries also according to their work. Some capable slave officer even succeed their master to become ruler. It means some capable slave, कुछ गुलाम ऐसे भी थे that after a death of their master, they too got the throne. उनको सिंहासन मिला. So, one of the example is there in Delhi, Ghori slaves, Kutubuddin Aibak, put underline over here, Ghori slaves, Kutubuddin Aibak was in charge of the administration, and after Ghori's death, Kutubuddin Aibak declared himself Sultan. मतलब घोरी के मरने के बाद Kutubuddin Aibak, he himself declared his next Sultan of Delhi, and he was the first slave Sultan of Delhi. Who was the first slave sultan of Delhi? Yes, Ghori was the first slave sultan. Keep in mind those one textbook, please put an line over here. And after that only, Kutubuddin Aibak began to construction of the Qutub Minar. So Qutub Minar had been constructed by Kutubuddin Aibak. Keep in mind. On Kutubuddin's death, after the Kutubuddin's death, his slave Iltutmish. Kutubuddin Aibak was slave of Ghoris and Iltutmish was slave of Kutubuddin. So after his death, Iltutmish, he was also his son-in-law and become the Sultan. He completed the construction of Qutub Minar. After starting the construction of the Qutub Minar, Kutubuddin Aibak got death. So after that, Iltutmish, his son-in-law as well Sultan of Delhi, he completed the construction of Qutub Minar. Iltutmish faced two major problems during his rule. First of all, he concerned his own official and other relative defeated Rajput royal family. He used to think about all the other defeated Rajput royal family also. And Iltutmish senior official and general were not willing to work under him. Iltutmish, those who are the senior officer, those who were working earlier under the Kutubuddin Aibak, after the Kutubuddin's death, they don't want to work under the Iltutmish. And this weakened his administration. उनके अंडर में कोई काम करना नहीं चाहता था. And during that time only, taking advantage of this situation, the descendant of the earlier defeated Rajput king began opposing the Sultan. And the previously defeated king जो हारे वे Rajput Sultan थे, kings थे, they come to know that the administration is going to weaken. So during that time only, they are going to start something new to oppose the kingdom. So they stopped depositing the revenue they collected from the peasant in the royal treasury. So during that time only, those those are working under them, they are going to stop deposit the revenue they are collected from the kingdom, but they not at all paying to the royal treasury. And during that time only they began looting travel and traders on the road. And this further weakened the sultans as a result, which it did extend to only a few cities and towns. So slowly, the administration of the Iltutmish is going to be weakened. Iltutmish sought to solve his problem by promoting 40 loyal and deserving slaves to high rank. So when Iltutmish come to know that all the workers, all the senior officers, they don't want to work under him. So during that time only, just to sort out this problem, what he have done? He used to promote to 40 loyal and deserving slave to high ranks, and many of them were made Aktadar to administer different provinces of his empire. And now they Aktadar, the new post is there. They used to collect revenue and crush revolt. They kept part of the revenue they collected to cover their salary and administrative expenses. They were also periodically transferred from one province to another. It means as he appointed the new jobs to high slaves, and continuously they used to give transfer to these people also, so that the akta or rank was not hereditary. The akta, the rank is that not hereditary. Hereditary, it means पिताजी के बाद बेटा, बेटा के बाद उनका बेटा, that is called the hereditary. Is not like that. A son could not inherit the rank of his father. It means according to their caliber, according to their the way of the work, they used to get the position. So children, this is all about for today. Rest of the chapter I am going to explain in the next class. Thank you.